Welcome to Feel Better with Lauren. I'm Lauren. Welcome to video 11 of the series of 12 over 14, where I try to get you to do a video almost every day for 2 weeks. Today, we're just going to be exploring a few more different moves, a few more ways of engaging your body, a few more tricks of the trade. Today, we're going to focus in on our core. We're always focusing on our core, but it's involved standing, sitting, everything. If you focus on your core, you will feel better. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome to video 11 of this series of 12 over 14. Welcome if you just joined us. Welcome if you've come back doing this one over again because you like it. And congratulations if you've made it this far in 11 and 12 over 14 and that you've just been following along. Today, we're just going to keep on looking at different poses and different things that we can do with our body. One of the things that it comes up a lot is your core. So we're going to focus a little tiny bit on that with a boat pose, which is a few different variations that we can do. Essentially, when you're doing all these yoga poses, you're engaging everything. You're not straining everything. Everything's not always flexed, but you're often engaged. So with a boat pose, however, we're actually focused more on our core. And so for me, it's a relatively hard pose, and we'll just sort of walk through it as we are. We'll do as we always do. We'll get rid of that stale air that's in our lungs. So in through your nose and out through your mouth 3 times. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Through your nose, and all that air out through your mouth. Now everything that's come in is fresher air and oxygenated air that hasn't been sitting in your lungs for a while. Do that whenever you need to. You're not hyperventilating, but you are just replacing some of that air. We'll start off lying down, just to sort of get our body feeling as it wants to feel. Often we start up in that sort of prayer pose or cross-legged, and it's a good way in yoga to feel that sort of unity in your body. Lying on your back can also do the same thing in a corpse's pose. And if you do it at the beginning of your practice, like today, you can sort of feel what's touching the ground, and it should sort of feel symmetrical as you're touching the ground. And sometimes you'll feel like, oh my God, like I'm actually a little twisted. I can feel more in one hip and less on the other. So just go down here and lie here and see what's touching the ground for you. See how that feels. You can go into the corpse's pose and tuck your shoulder blades underneath. And then if you want, you can touch your belly with one hand and your heart with the other. I'll keep my palms facing up to the ceiling. And just sort of breathe here for a few moments. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose for the rest of the time. And just as you're breathing, focusing on what's actually touching the ground or your mat, the carpet, or whatever you're on. If you want, you could adjust a little bit. I always find that one of my hips is a little higher than the other. So if I sort of shuffle a little bit, I can get that sort of balance a little bit more going on. Now on your next inhale in, let's squeeze our knees all the way to our chest as tight as we can. I find this, especially if you do equal pressure on your knees, you also get this sort of balance going on. If you pull too one on one side, you tend to roll, that sort of thing. So squeeze your knees in nice and tight to your chest. And you're not straining anything, your head's all moving still. And just sit here for a moment. Now, on your next breath in, put your knees together. We'll do just a gentle supine twist. So roll over onto your left side and let your right shoulder fall back. And if you can, look over your right shoulder and look towards your hand. If you can't, that's okay too. I rest my left hand on my right thigh, and I'm not pulling on it, but it just sort of guides it to sort of open up my back a little bit. And let's just breathe there for a little bit. And rather than trying to get extra stretch, think about trying to get extra expansion. And then, so when you inhale, you expand your spine. When you exhale, that twist sort of comes because you're relaxing into it. Just a few more breaths here. And on your next breath in, camel, pull your knees to your chest, nice and tight. Maybe your knees go a little bit closer to your chest this time. Again, nice and balanced. You're not straining your neck. Your chin is loose. And then on your next inhale, your knees go together. And we roll onto our right side and let our left shoulder hang open. And again, you inhale to create some space in your spine. And then you exhale, and it allows you sort of to relax into a twist this way. This should be nice and gentle. It should just feel good, like a morning stretch. And then on your next inhale, your knees come back up to your chest, nice and squeezed tight in. And again, hopefully this is lining up your spine a bit more and stretching you out a little bit more. So it makes me feel balanced, like I'm sort of more solid even just lying here on the ground. Now, from here, just drop your feet down and we'll just do a little bridge pose just to activate our hip flexors and our butt. You're going to dig in out of your heels, tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Your chin is nice and loose. It's not crunched up against your chest. And you want to push up, right? Get your pelvis going right to the sky. Lots of good benefit to that. And just relax there for a few breaths. Keep your butt engaged. You could always support your butt a little bit with your hands if you were feeling that. Inhale up on your toes, nice and high. Your hands above your shoulders, and just let your spine slowly come down to the ground. Sometimes get a little pop doing that in a nice way. Knees to your chest for a good little stretch. And then from here, we'll go into a supine, which just means lying on your back, staff pose, which is when you have a sort of right angle. Your legs are straight, your backs are straight. It's actually a harder pose, and you want to engage your core to do it. You want to crunch up anything. You just want to stay engaged. You can support yourself underneath your thighs if you'd like, or if you can, just put your legs straight up in the air and as nice and straight as possible. After this, we're going to go into this boat pose, and we're going to rock from here, which is going to engage our core even more. Okay, next inhale, grab behind your thighs, and we're going to rock. And if you we're going to rock into boat pose. Boat pose, you can have your shins parallel to the ground, you can have your feet on the ground, or you can have your feet straight to keep that V going. I'm going to keep my feet straight, but I'm also going to hold on to the back of my thighs to try to keep that as sort of pristine as possible, but not overstressing my core. So we'll just rock a little bit. Once more. And we end up there, and we're going to balance ourselves. Engage in my core well. My shoulders are away from my ears. If you're not would like, you can have your arms out straight. I'm not. And now I'm going to go to a low boat with my shoulders off the ground, my heels off the ground, and just hold that. Now rock up to boat again, put my feet down for a well-deserved rest, and I'm going to do a little forehead over knee. I tuck my right leg into my left thigh. I'm going to bend from my hips and my lower back, so sort of hinge on that. But I'm also going to let my forehead go towards my knee, so I'm going to curve my spine as well. And as I inhale, I'll get a little bit more, and I'll find myself sinking down. You may be able to put your head all the way down to your knee, which is fantastic. I cannot. Keep your foot flexed, and you'll feel a nice stretch. Keep breathing through your nose. Keep your breathing nice and slow. Let your breathing guide you. In your next inhale, you can sit up slowly. Let's change sides. Your left leg into your quad, your right leg nice and flexed. Hinge from your hips, so forward, and then let your forehead fall down towards your knee. Better that you're up and feeling the stretch than trying to sort of bend and flop your knee all around. So forward and forward. On this next inhale, push yourself up slowly. You can see yourself falling down. Like just as you relax into this, we're going to do into what's called cow face, which is lining up our knees as much as we can. It's sort of like an extra cross-leggedness where we get our knees lined up. Mine don't line up. Maybe yours do all the way over. We're getting a stretch on our hip. We're going to just lean forward into this. And again, keep that sort of back hinging and also curving to make that line strong. Keep your right foot engaged. And then you're not twisting your knee. Next inhale, come on up slowly. We'll go around the other side, so your right leg underneath you, your left leg folded above. And again, we're trying to line up our two knees for cow face and then just gently falling over and relaxing into this. Your next inhale, slowly come up. You're going to put your left leg out straight, your right leg keep bent, and we're just going to stretch out of this to a supported side plank. So you'll come up on your right knee and the edge of your left, and then push your hips away and your arm over your head. Last breath in. And then relax back down your hips. Roll to the other side. Your right leg straight, your left leg bent. Up on your knee. Push up your hips. You get a nice stretch on your hip flexor on the side of your body. And then bring your hips back down again. Go into cross leg and just roll over. I just want to stretch out my feet for a second. I sometimes feel that these bending stretches, my feet need to just have a little extra love and attention, as it were. I'm just going to hold there. Everything's pretty engaged right now for my feet. And inhale. And our next inhale, untuck your toes, your big toes together, your knees wide apart. Plant your hips on your heels first, so it's nice and stable. And we're just going to go into that child's pose. The child's pose is a nice place to come to if you ever need to breathe. Just get control of your breath again. It's a good relaxing place where you're still engaged and have your hands walking it. We're putting our chest towards the mat and our forehead towards the mat. And everything's engaged on our arms, and yet it's also really relaxed. Keep breathing in and out through your nose. And then inhale onto our toes again into downward dog, which we're pretty much into that spot. You can walk your feet out a little bit just to line up everything. And then we're going to make sure we get a nice straight line from our wrists to our elbows to our shoulders. Your chest is going towards the ground. And then once you've got that there, you can straighten up your legs a little bit. As long as you don't sacrifice that nice straight line. Our inhale, we're just going to go through a little wave just to keep everything sort of lubricated and moving. So we'll inhale, go forward to a plank, drop our hips to an upward dog, roll into a push-up, up to a plank, and then back to downward dog. And keep your legs bent if you'd like, and just roll through that once again like a wave running through your body. Pushing forward to plank, dropping to upward dog, into that push-up, up to plank, and back. Now slowly, just walk your feet slowly. You guys want to come through? Okay, go through, but I'm cramping. You gotta close the door. Yep. Yep. Okay, so into that yogi squat. Get some good stability here. Another pose that only works if you're nice and balanced. Get your back nice and straight. And then hands flat on the ground. Roll forward a little tiny bit. And we're going to go up to a forward fold with your hands flat. Straightening your legs as much as you can. And keep your hands flat on the ground. And again, as you inhale, it makes some space in your spine. You might be able to straighten your legs a little bit more. Interlace your hands behind your head for the seal version of this. Let your arms fall forward. Keep your legs straight again. And let your hands fall to the ground slowly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Crouch into a ball. Come all the way up. Your arms over your head, your hips kicked out. And then back to that prayer position. And take a few moments here and just feel where maybe your body is a bit more balanced, a little bit more open, a little less locked, still engaged and balanced. And we'll see you in the next video and feel better. Always talk to your healthcare professional before starting a new regime. If you experience pain, discomfort, or dizziness, slow down or stop. These videos will become easier each day, but if it doesn't feel right today, go slower or move to another video. Listen to your body.